I share with you a document which is Tether White Paper, and I want the three of us just to have a quick look at Tether White Paper and share the screen with us. Go to page 10, please. This is the official Tether White Paper. If you mind reading for us what says on page 10, you can even zoom it a bit there. You have 100%. Put a bit more so people can see it.
Okay, it says, we understand that our implementation doesn't immediately create a fully trusted cryptocurrency system, mainly because users must trust Tether Limited and our corresponding legacy banking institution to be the custodian of the reserved assets. However, almost all exchanges and wallets, assuming they hold USD fiat, are subject to the same weakness. Wow. Users of these services are already subject to these risks. Here is a summary of the weaknesses in our approach. The first one is we could go bankrupt. Good God. The second one is our bank could go insolvent. The fourth one is our bank could freeze or confiscate the funds. Number 4, we could abscond with the reserve funds. Oh my God. Like what? This is crazy.
Well, you know, Tether owns 15% of Bitcoin too.
Wow.
They own 15% of Bitcoin too. So if any of that were to happen, you know, dominoes, it would certainly pop the bubble. You would certainly get a big, massive correction.
This is insane.
It is insane. And it's right there in front of you. You know, the devil's in the detail, they say. It's literally right there.
Yeah, what I just read is scary. That's scary.
I think especially number 4 that says we could abscond with the reserve funds. You know, my mother English is not English, but I think as per the definition of abscond, literally means they can disappear with the reserve funds. Did I get something wrong here?
Nope, that's on point. Yeah, it's right there in English.
Jeez.
Yeah, the mainstream narrative out there with Bitcoin maximalists, all these people, it's not on their best interest to talk about this type of subjects because that disrupts the narrative. And the narrative is that Bitcoin is a great asset and that adoption is kicking in and that high demand for Bitcoin is actually inflating the price. That's not the truth. There is much more for what's being told. I know it's not very, from the influencer perspective, that's not really what attracts views and generate likes and revenue. However, I stand with the truth. You know, that's why I don't fall for this hype narrative. I could be getting thousands of hundreds of retweets just to go on the bullish narrative and say, yes, Bitcoin is going to go to 200K, 500K. One of the other narratives that's circulating around is that 0.1 Bitcoin could make you a millionaire in the next 10 years.
I saw that. That was Michael Saylor, right? That was Michael Saylor, of
that's
course.
being repeated over and over. When I first hear about Bitcoin, I used to think, damn, that's the thing that's going to dethrone the banks. We're going to become our own banking system. It's just a perfect digital currency, you know. And I even have, I wanted to show you guys here. And that's exactly the Bitcoin white paper, you know, it's over here. And I used to look for this white paper and I start to think, you know, and just if you take the title of this, it's like a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. I think very often people overlook the white paper by Satoshi, you know. So a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. And you know, this used to make a lot of sense, but as the usage for Bitcoin blockchain started to grow, there came some of the higher issues with the fees escalating. In fact, the fees now are hitting an all-time high. Every time the blockchain gets congested, I'm talking specifically about Bitcoin, it just becomes impossible to send some money around even between your own wallets. So if I want to send from my Binance to my Ledger, for instance, I'm going to lose a substantial portion of what I'm sending. And then I just started to sit around and realize, but that's exactly contrary to what Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned. People have to see that everything that is happening now is 100% contrary to the initial version of Bitcoin. And then we just start to connect the dots here and understand that, wait a minute, XRP just one by one checks everything that Bitcoin has failed. If that doesn't make you at least raise an eyebrow, wait a minute, something is not being said on the official narrative of Bitcoin maximalists. They're right now celebrating that BlackRock is taking custody of Bitcoin and they are capable of manipulating the price ups and downs. So I just don't get. I want to hear your opinion on that, Versan and James.
Liquidity provision. That's what it really is going to end up with. And that's something Ida also mentioned here, is that there's going to be a run on the banks. And another major banking crisis is inevitable. I mean, for many, many fucking reasons. You know, number one, they're insolvent. No matter how much you try to disguise it and put the illusion out there, you know, we're 35 trillion in debt. We're losing $1 trillion every 100 days on inflation. I'm sorry, on interest rates alone. It's unsustainable. As a result, when the time comes. Somebody asked about the ICE 9 scenario. Yes, there can certainly be a credit crunch, and that would lead to a credit freeze where people cannot access their money. Remember, liquidity is having the instantaneous settlement, being able to buy and sell an asset as fast as you can.
That's
so
right.
when that demand is there, what do you think it's going to do to XRP? What do you think? I'm thinking, again, long term. This banking crisis has been very slow and gradual for the last 3-4 years, right? So, a long time ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, I was telling people that there's going to be a one moment where it all hits at once.
Right.
It hasn't played out that way. I get it now, but it's slowly, gradually taking us there. And this is what Andy Schectman reveals a lot, little by little, by little, by little. And then bam, one day it's going to happen so fast and it's going to make us spin like the exorcist. All right. So when that moment comes, owning XRP, you are essentially your own central bank. You have de-dollarized if you think about it. And it's just amazing, the opportunity here. So we're truly blessed with all of this, and our listeners out there too. And it's a very exciting time, guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of uncertainty, and this is why you want to have some cash outside as well. The banks go down, it could get really ugly and scary.
Yeah.